I had to come back and do a trigger warning. After I completely read through this does have some triggering issues in here. He's talking about self deletion and pulling a pew pew on himself. So just putting that out there that yes, I had to come back and put that out there because this one took a turn that I didn't expect. This title alone is a mess. I'm leaving my pregnant wife and I feel like I shouldn't live anymore. Okay, you're leaving your pregnant wife. Okay, let's see what this is about. I'll try to summarize this as best as I can with the backstory. From the outside looking in, my life looks great. I married my high school sweetheart back in 2018. We've been together since 2011. We stuck out our long distance relationship through college, moved back to the same city, bought a home, had two kids, got two dogs, a camper, surrounded by great friends and family, and have comfortable jobs. Real white picket fence type life. Something most people I imagine dream of. Back in 2024, I hit a massive low point, unhappy, depressed, losing my grip on life. I've had my struggles with depression throughout my still relatively young life, but this one took the cake. I did the stupidest thing one could do in a relationship and cheated. I can try and explain it away and justify it, but let's just face it. It was a terrible thing to do, and no one deserves that kind of treatment. In October, I put myself in therapy to begin exploring exactly what was happening with me. At the end of October, the job that I had been at for 7 years and thought was a career let me go due to budget cuts. Early in November, I broke off the cheating as it was eating me alive and confessed everything to my wife. The cheating wasn't all I was keeping from her, and so I let it all out. Not only had I cheated, but I had racked up a sizable amount of debt that she wasn't aware of, and I had kept her out of most of my social life and developed a heavy drinking problem. Self harm ideations were in full swing once again. Previously, I was thinking of self deletion prior to the birth of our second child, all while maintaining the guise that everything was fine for me and us. After this confession, I fully detached, physically, emotionally, mentally. I was basically just a warm body to her. I started sleeping downstairs, only really showed love to the kids and the dogs. Conversations between us were scarce. This continued from November to March of this year, basically just going through the motions of our previously happy life, but not feeling much of it. There were a few moments over these months where we would get intimate. She would always initiate, and I would always be drunk and just go along with it to feel good for once. In mid February, after starting a new job, I decided it would be best for me to move out and find my own place. And in March, I did just that. The night I moved out, she told me she was 5 weeks pregnant. That was the last push I needed. I wasn't even thinking about moving out anymore. I just looked at her for a bit, grabbed my keys and pew pew, walked out and drove. I can't even tell you where I ended up that night. I didn't sleep, not sure I blinked. I found a quiet stretch of land in the more rural part of the county, put it in park, and started fiddling with my firearm. I shed more tears in those few hours than I have in my entire lifetime. All I kept telling myself was, I don't want another kid. I don't want this. I can't do this. Lost track of time, but as you can tell, nothing happened. The sun came up and I was just numb, sitting there. Eventually, I made my way over to my new place. I have been here since then, working, providing financial support, spending time with the kids and dogs when I can. I all but begged my wife to get a termination, pleaded with her to reconsider. It's not my choice to make. I know that. But I told her I was in no mental state to father another child. I was barely hanging on for the two that we did have. So I either hang around and wait to get pushed once again to an absolute breaking point with the birth of this third kid. If I don't off myself before then I have to make my peace with a child I didn't want and a wife that isn't who I thought she was. What? A wife? What? And if I make it to that point, then I have to live knowing I'm a piece of that stepped away and left a woman with 3 kids just because I left in search for a reason to keep living. Seems like I'm screwed no matter what. Damned if I stay, damned if I go. So he said all of this. He's having a mental health crisis. He's having a situation. He cheated. He did all of this. He moved after he confessed that he cheated and he is drinking heavily. He has a social life that doesn't include his family. And in the very last part, he says, hold on. and a wife that isn't who I thought she was. What did the wife do? The wife has been with him through the ups and downs and taking care of the kids. And what did she do? She didn't do anything. Why is he putting anything on her? He is the one that needs to get help. He's the yeah. I'm a little confused about. I really hope that this man finds some healing and some therapy. And I hope that this lady can keep things together for her kids and her dogs and herself, because she ended up with a dud. She ended up with worse than a dud. And that is very unfortunate for her. As a wife and mother myself, I empathize with her. I hope this dude can get the help that he needs, but I hope that he doesn't do anything crazy around this family. The kids are innocent. She's innocent. The dogs don't deserve this. But if he does do something, hopefully he will go back to the rural area in a remote part of the county. Nobody needs to know, honed in on the same part. And a wife that isn't who I thought she was. Yes, because you're a husband slash father of the effing year. Stop the victim blaming and actually get help. Helpful N says, damn, I feel sorry for your wife. Having the nerve to say she isn't who I thought she was after you lied, cheated, and created debt is truly disgusting. Your wife is pregnant because you had sex with her. You should have gotten a vasectomy instead of abandoning your family because of the consequences of your actions. Get the help you need. Your family deserves better. Zozo says, sorry if you posted this looking for sympathy, but you won't find much from me. You created this situation through a series of myopic, self absorbed choices, and now you don't want to deal with the consequences. You cheated, racked up debt, and lied about it. You cut your wife out your life. You drank and also hid that. This is not depression making decisions for you. This is you making consistently terrible choices and cowering behind depression as cover. Your wife is pregnant because you effed her multiple times without protection while drunk during a period where you claim you were fully detached physically. You created this pregnancy and are now pressuring your wife to terminate after destroying your relationship with her and obliterating any trust the two of you shared. She's currently dealing with your betrayal, financial deception, an unplanned pregnancy, and two kids that you've left for her to manage alone. She didn't become a wife that isn't who I thought she was. She found out who you actually were and is grappling with that reality. The choice isn't between staying or going, it's between resolving to take responsibility for your life or continue to run from it and creating excuses while making yourself miserable. Stop drinking, go to therapy, be a functional adult and a good father to the children that desperately need one. The end. Men, specifically white men, are the ones that take themselves out the most. And I really do believe when it actually comes down to life, adulting, being the whole protector and provider that they're supposed to be, when the rubber meets the road, many of them are not equipped to be the supposed leaders that they are marketed to be. They just can't hack it. Things got tough, and now he's wanting to do this. He's having a breakdown, and I sincerely hope that he just doesn't do that around his kids, around his wife that didn't do anything except be there for him. He made, like this person said, a series of choices, and now he wants to run from the consequences of his choices. Once again, let the birth rate plummet to hell, because women don't deserve to do all of this. We're pushed to get married, have kids, and blah, blah, blah. And then this. Too many women are out here doing this alone simply because they thought that they were doing things, like they were hitting the milestones as they were supposed to do this. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think of this one. Yes, this one kind of surprised me. I will tell y'all, I do not read these things all the way through. I take screenshots and then I'm reading them as I'm reading them on video. So yeah, this one took me by surprise a little bit. But let me know what you think. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share.